Once, our ancestors tilled soil not just for survival, but for liberation. They grew freedom, seed by seed. They healed with hands, herbs, and hymns. That legacy continues today. Tucked in the quiet heart of Natchitoches, Louisiana, lies land that breathes memory. Over 40 acres of Black-owned earth, passed down through generations, a sanctuary for renewal.
This land was acquired by my great-grand-uncles in 1873. My great-grandfather, Hudson Rivers, was barely 1 year old when they acquired the land, and it was passed down to me through my father, who I'm named after, Ira Revels, and then, of course, my mother, and now me.
In July of 2025, on a hot summer day, Ira invited a small group of farmers and healers to restore, to reconnect, and to bless the land. A ritual both spiritual and practical, a ceremony rooted in memory, in resistance, in love.
Every day that I'm on the land or alive, I feel my ancestors. Every day, everywhere I go. They are very loud, they are very proud of me, and they are very supportive of the work that's happening here. But definitely when I'm on the land, they are all around me and I feel strengthened by that.
Our ancestors didn't just farm for food, they farmed for freedom. With every seed, they built a future they weren't sure that they would even live to see.
We should actually take time to go back to learn who we are. We have to have an understanding of it, even if you believe you do, right? Like a lot of people culturally, they don't delve within, but from an ancestral perspective, the mandate is to learn who you are.
Relaxed Farms became more than just a plot of land. It became a ceremony, a sacred return. Healers gathered, stewards arrived with intention. Hands touched the soil, generations before them farmed. In the center of it all, a call to bless the land.
Ancient energy, yeah, just a very calming energy though. The ancient ones, they weren't, I won't say they weren't boisterous, but it was only when necessary. So the land itself talks about it being relaxed farms. And I felt very, very relaxed when I came into the space. I felt like the time that we've been talking was just preparation for being here on Relaxed Farm. So yeah, it was very ancient, ancestral energy and very comforting and relaxing.
To bless the land is to speak to it, to recognize its memory, to ask for its permission, and to honor what it has carried.
There is a spiritual responsibility that comes with stewarding this land simply because our ancestors, literally my ancestors, bled in this soil as well as toiled in this soil. They were enslaved people. And so given that they were enslaved people, given that they actually purchased land and slaves, and now generationally, I am here with the legacy to actually make this continue and persist for another 150 years and beyond. It's responsibility. It's a major responsibility and I'm here for it.
The way I see farmers and healers, farming, healing, working together, everything that was here from God's creation was made to sustain you. When I look at people that are putting their heart and their love and their energy and their time into the soil, taking time to let it grow, let it sprout, let it cultivate, let it spread, and then for us to be able to consume that for all of the different nutrients that it provides our body, that is healing. Everything from your herbs to water to your vegetables to meat all have energy and some healing properties. So, especially your herbs, especially your vegetables. That's why they tell us to eat our vegetables, so we can grow big and strong, and that's real. Yeah, everything has an energy, and it all has healing properties. So when you look at farmers and you look at healers, they are doing the same thing. They're here to bring longevity on your life, whether that be by consumption through spirit or consumption on your plate.
For Ira and Pharaoh, this will be their first time witnessing a land blessing. But it feels ancient, familiar. It feels like coming home.
I believe everything that we need as beings on this planet having a physical experience is on this earth. And since we're made from the earth, we have powers that lie inside of the earth. So as we plant seeds, we're planting seeds of intention to manifest something for the rest of our generation, our lineage, to build community, to build tribe, because we as an Afro-Indigenous culture have somehow gotten away from our roots. We were the community, we owned Black Wall Street. We want to build that back up, and having a chance to come and be community, because charity, people have negative connotations around the word charity. Charity is actually love, okay? Let me show some love. Receive this love, receive charity. That is not a bad thing to receive charity, So I'm here in the space of community, charity, and tribe.
In this soil, lessons are planted. This land teaches us to grow again, not just crops, but pride, possibility, presence.
Baby, that's how we survived and how we resisted, right? I mean, survival through being able to know what plants to eat that was healthy for us when we didn't have quote unquote meat, or, when crops weren't growing properly, but would still give us nutrients, right? Knowing how to make those tinctures and teas and things that will sustain us, because there were times where famine was, even now, famine is a thing still, right? But the herbs and the teas will give you the nutrients. It may not be in the form you want, because we used to chewing, right? But it will still give it to you. So being able to tap into learning about the herbs, learning about what fruits and vegetables to eat, that is how we survive.
My goal is that people are inspired to own their own land and become sovereign, and that they're able to and willing to support their communities, especially at a time when owning Black land is so threatened. Less than 2%, likely even closer to 1% of Black people own land in this country, in the United States. And ultimately, we would want more people to own land. Even if it's, ultimately I want more humans to own land. Black people definitely, because it does mean healing for our ancestral wounds, but ultimately all of us need to be healed. We are all in need of support and healing. And so I'm just simply saying that I hope that people are inspired to come here, to experience healing, but also to seek their own land and their own opportunities to get involved in agriculture and healing and wellness work.
That I'm a Nigerian born and bred man. I come from a place where every land is ultimately passed down. I know and that is, and have an understanding of the pieces of land that I have back home. And these are not things that we purchase, right? There are some things that we purchase as a family, but these are things that are ultimately passed down, and they've been passed down. I know up to 11 or 12 generations of the names of my fathers, right? And so we are talking a few thousand years, right? That is in which an asset has been passed down. That is our stewardship. So I grew up in that, right? Being young, 7 years of age, and actually being on the farm, just 7 to 10 years of age. These are all things which we understood, and of course, I have never seen land as something in which me and the people around me were solely laborers on. That's a very distinct perspective from actually the perspective of, what's actually, for lack of a better term, I would say people who are ancestrally formally enslaved. There is a different scenario there where, I think that question is fascinating, but for me, I've always been a steward. But but it's about the, you know, the tilling of the land at a young age and being able to appreciate and being able to butcher, you know, actually butcher animals and make sure that you could use the entrails as manure and things of that nature, and knowing that, we can have a garden in an area of land, and knowing that we can plant a set of palm kernel seeds to be able to create palm oil, and also all of the business of it. I mean, to be a steward of the land is to make money from it. Simple and short, right? The laborer on the land is not the one who takes the ultimate value from the land. To be a steward of the land is to think first and foremost economically, right? That is about what you have, and always looking to make sure that you make the land grow. Like I mentioned previously, blessing the land is a way to ask more from the land, right? We live in a place where the land needs to be leveraged to become an economic value for us, the people around us.
Black land ownership has never been easy. It has been fought for, stolen, reclaimed, threatened, and held. To open that land to community is radical. To share it in healing is holy.
Relax Farms is not just a verb, but it's a way of life. We think about the word relax, we think about taking a load off, perhaps sitting or lying down, being at leisure, recreation. And so Relax Farms is designed to provide wellness experiences for people and also provide nutrient-dense food for the community as well. So ultimately, Relax Farms is all about the goodness in us, sharing with one another, as well as providing for our community. My vision is vast, but my priorities to accomplish that vision include, bee healing pods for people to come, beds for them to lie in and get healing from the beating of the wings of bees. It includes growing nutrient-dense, high-performance foods, helping men and women and humans simply learn how to thrive and be resilient, receive that mental health and support that they need.
This isn't just a moment. It's a movement, a remembering, a restoration.
And we want to, but we're also promoting self-sovereignty. Self-sovereignty meaning we will give you tools and share the tools with you on how to heal yourself, and we will support you through your journey in healing.
And that's the part about why we venerate, because we're saying, hey, ancestors, we've heard you, and we're answering your call. You told us to return here. You told us to come back and reactivate the land. And so they are shouting, they are stomping their feet, they are clapping their hands, they are singing and rejoicing, because that's what they remember. They remember being underneath the tree, and that's where they held their reverence to their God, their spirits, their ancestors, whoever it was and however it was that they did that. But they did it outside. So when we come outside, they're shouting with us, saying thank you for coming back, and thank you for saying yes to reactivation, yes to renewal and restoration of what we left behind for you. Thank you for picking that totem pole back up and say, hey, I know it was dropped, but it doesn't have to end. I can pick it up and continue that journey.
Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, gonna lay down my burden. Down by the riverside, ain't gonna cry no more. Hey. And so we're going to let them know we're coming. They knew before we got here that we were coming. We're gonna let them know we're coming. All of my family, everybody that I knew and loved, everybody, my whole life. All of you guys, I miss you so much. I am the last living member of my immediate family. I have no biological children. There is a child that I have, and one day I will meet him again, But for the most part, at this stage of my life, my lineage and my line ends with me on this earth. So this is Lucille Revels.
As the healing came to a close, Sister Ira led the group down a quiet path to the family gravesite, where generations of Black stewards rest beneath the soil they once nurtured.
This is the mighty Hudson Rivers. Hudson Rivers is my great-grandfather. It's kind of weird to see a name on a tombstone, but
she
this is
spoke
my
their
father.
names, not as farewell, but as a promise.
At his head is my cousin, Rita, and immediately at his head,
that their legacy lives
in the
on,
middle,
that their labor will not be forgotten.
my birth mother, and in front of him, right as his head, is my mother. Needless to say, everybody that I grew up knowing, they all right here.
If the land could speak, perhaps it would say, "Thank you for remembering me." Perhaps it would say, "Welcome home."